Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Hello there and welcome to the Lynn Cullen Show.
Oh, no. It's going to be like that today, is it? All right.
I never have any idea how it's going to be. You just have to go with the flow.
Into it. Yep.
Yeah, just like, it's the way I like to perambulate. How's this for a headline? I haven't read the story. I can't read the story. I just cannot read the story.
Okay.
After the headline. Death of Texas man with slit throat and missing ear ruled accidental overdose.
I mean, you'd have to read it. Come on.
Come on! How is that even possible?
But isn't that the point? That's why you want to read it.
I don't think I have the whole thing. Oh, yeah, I do. You read it.
All right, so this is my newsreader voice
it,
here.
And I got it on two sides.
Thanks, Lynn.
You are welcome. Oh, you mean you're going to read it out loud?
We'll come back right with the Out the Door cast. Prosecutors have turned over an investigation of a Texas man's disappearance and death to the state attorney general's office after the Justice Department launched its own investigation.
Yes.
Alfred Wright disappeared November 7th while going to visit a physical therapy client when his truck broke down. He called his wife to pick him up, but she called her in-laws instead because she was watching their two sons. Lauren Wright and her husband... Oh, I'm sorry. Man, this is why I'm not a newsreader, huh? Lauren Wright said her husband was breathing heavily as if in distress when she called back, and his parents found his truck, but not their son, when they arrived at the Hemp Hill liquor store where his vehicle had broken down. Where's the part with the ear? The clerk told Wright's father she had seen him outside using his cell phone, but he had suddenly tucked the phone into his sock and took off running, quote, as if his truck was going to blow up. So rather improper use of the subjunctive mood by the clerk there.
Well, you shit!
The 28-year-old Wright's watch and identification were found the following day at a nearby ranch, and police organized a massive manhunt, but the search was called off after 3 days. The missing man's family hired a private investigator and organized their own search party, and Wright's remains were discovered 18 days later, just 25 yards away from where he disappeared, in an area police said they had already searched. The official autopsy found that Wright had died from an accidental drug overdose after toxicology tests showed cocaine and methamphetamine in his body and no evidence of severe trauma.
Well, the fact that his throat was slit?
But Wright's family was baffled because they said he had never been known to use drugs, and his partially unclothed body had a slit throat and missing an ear, tongue, and 2 teeth. The official autopsy, I'm just going back to this previous sentence, the official autopsy found that Wright had died from an accidental drug overdose.
Because there was no signs of trauma
and no evidence of severe trauma.
Okay, we obviously have, this is totally doesn't make any sense at all, just like the headline.
His body was found clothed only in boxer shorts, tennis shoes, and a single sock, which had his cell phone tucked inside. The medical examiner attributed the injuries to animal and insect activity.
Animals and insects do not slit throats.
Or take 2 teeth out of somebody's mouth.
No.
One would think.
No.
The family's attorney said the Sabine County Sheriff had suggested a drug overdose before Wright's body was discovered, and relatives believe the medical examiner's report was based on conclusions made by law enforcement without any evidence. The presence of drugs in Alfred's system fails to explain the very apparent signs of severe trauma found in his body, the family said in a press release.
Oh, dear heavens. Okay, stop. I'm not even interested anymore.
Yeah, that's a...
All right, here's my next question. By the way, good morning. Did we say good morning?
I think you did.
And this is Chris Potter.
Hi.
Hey. So I'm behind a bus.
Yeah.
And it's, the cars are so dirty, now. You can't, and if you're on a bus, you can't even see out the windows.
Right.
I mean, it's just, and this bus was really dirty, although there was this vague picture of a woman on the back who looked from another era, and it said something like one of Pittsburgh Hall of Fame Pittsburgher or something like that.
Oh,
have you seen those things before?
Yeah.
And it was a woman who looked like from the 1900s sometime or 1800s.
I know the image you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, and then I could vaguely see through the dirt and grime. Her name, I think, said Emily Rossing, Roessing.
Uh-huh.
You ever heard of that?
I think I looked this up once. And
well,
the Port
I
Authority...
looked it up and you come up with nothing.
Oh, really?
I Googled her. I found out that someone named Emily Rossing died in Colorado and was buried
in a
there.
bus.
Who is she?
I can't remember. Some advocate for some transit thing, I think. That's what
but
they
if you don't
celebrate,
even-
the heroes of local transit. Yeah.
They do?
I think so, yeah. I think that's what the idea of that campaign was.
Oh.
Because they're not they have some, I've seen a couple others too. And,
And the names are not
they're
names
not
you
like,
know.
It's not like, oh, yeah, that guy.
Oh, yeah, Emily Rossing.
Yeah.
But then, okay, but so she doesn't even show up here. I mean, you get someone on YouTube, you get somebody here.
Should
somebody
call over to the Port Authority and ask them who
ask
it was.
who the hell she is.
Maybe I'll find out for you for next week if you
Thank you
really
very much.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit of a tease, is it not?
I guess.
Okay, yesterday we were talking about a lot of things, one of which was the Pittsburgh, inclination to put "at" in strange places, especially at the end of questions. And this is from Kathy. My father was very bright with a dry sense of humor. He was also he was also very particular about how his children spoke English. When any of us or our friends ask, "Where's John at?"
Yeah.
He'd answer, with no further comment, right before the "at." That's good. It takes some
Yeah, it's
thinking.
the kind of thing that, makes kids resent their parents, I think.
No, she doesn't. Where's John at?
Yeah.
Right before the "at."
I got it.
Well, I'm just repeating
Yes,
it in case
yeah.
because you have to think about that.
Right.
I was saying that back in Wisconsin, the thing that we appended on sentences that made no sense at all was the word "once," so that I would say, "I'm going over to Robin's once." And my grandmother, a wise woman in her own right, used to say, "Why not twice?" And I used to get so
Exactly.
annoyed.
This is what I'm saying. It's annoying
I
when people
know,
do
but
that.
she, you know what though? She got me to stop.
Yeah, I
Because
guess so.
after a while, I saw that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Now, Chris Potter tells us that we are lucky to have him here today because he could.
That's not actually how I said it.
You could right now.
I've never felt anybody was lucky to have me.
be engaging in.
You could be watching.
Is KDK the only one?
I don't know. KDK is currently at least live streaming film footage of the funeral procession for Rocco, the heroic canine dog.
They are closing off streets in Oakland.
Yep.
And there's a huge police procession. Rocco was buried already.
Yeah.
Rocco, the
heroic canine dog.
Heroic. You can't call a dog heroic. He
Oh,
thought
no,
he
this
was
is
doing what he usually does.
This is an interesting.
Only instead of this time getting a treat, he got stabbed.
Oh, God.
What? That's the truth.
It is a sort of interesting. We've been talking about this.
About whether it's not nice to use these trusting animals like this.
This is, to me, this is the remarkable sort of philosophical thing about this. So we put the dogs in harm's way.
Yes, we do.
And we do that because, I would say rightly, we value the dogs less than we do our human police officers.
So they should take
And
a hit
yet,
for us. Yes.
now, all of a sudden,
It's
hey, he's a police officer. And we should throw the book at this person worse for attacking a police dog than for some other kind of dog, even a service animal that helps blind people.
We seem rather confused. And,
So there's we're willing to sort of devalue the dog's life, but then if a criminal does it or whatever, then all of a sudden
we want to kill him.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, it is a
agree.
strange. And God bless Rocco and all dogs go to heaven and all that stuff. But I do think there's a certain
strangeness here.
Moral
Yeah.
thing that's not really being unpacked here because we're all in such a rush to.
Yeah. There's something odd that is going on and a little over the top.
Yeah.
And so KDKA is actually preempting regular programming.
I don't know if they're doing. I know they're doing it online. I don't know if they're doing it. I don't know if they're doing it on
we
TV.
Don't have a TV
although I
here,
suspect
so
they probably are.
Hey, why don't you check all the stations if you're in a position to do so, and tell us if there are now buzzing over Oakland 3 helicopters aloft.
Yeah. I don't think, from what I could tell, they weren't in Oakland at the time when I was watching it.
Okay, well, it'd be indoors by now. I think the thing was supposed to start at, it's supposed to start at 11.
Yeah, I think they're still wending their way.
So, whatever. But yeah, that, come on. And speaking of dogs, damn it, the hardest thing in the news today. Oh, God, I can't even look at it. Did you see the dog that was the soldier dog?
No.
The colonel, I believe. They give these dogs a rank. Do you know that?
No. Really?
Oh, God almighty. You can't make any of this up. Where is it? They give them a rank. And they give them a rank. Can't find it. Never mind. There was a dog taken here. Dogs are given ranks that make them senior to their handlers. You thought it was weird what you were talking about. Get this, in the military. Okay. Dogs are given ranks that make them senior to their handlers, a practice designed to ensure that the humans treat the animals with deference. See, I think we're screwed up about this. This is all very screwy. This is all very strange things going on here. We use them, we love them, and yet we use them. They do anything for us, and yet they have no say in these situations. Whatever. It's very, very odd. Anyway, there's a what do you call that? A video that's been released by the Taliban in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
Allah gave victory to the Mujahideen, one of the bearded fighters cries.
And then they kill the dog.
Down with them and down with their spies. And there's this dog. He's sitting there looking at these guys, and every once in a while he sort of nervously wags his tail. Oh, you could die! They captured a dog! And he was with the Brits, but they eat a dog, and they got him.
So did they kill the dog?
No, they have. Who knows what they're going to do to the poor dog? They're not exactly known to love dogs.
Yeah, right.
I mean, no.
Yes, yeah.
So, as a matter of fact, they think dogs are unclean.
Yes.
And if you're too... And as a matter of fact, Karzai has complained about us bringing dogs in because he says those who come in contact with them are then unclean and unfit to prey. Okay, this poor dog is sitting there like, hi, he's just assuming people are, I don't know who these guys are, and he knows he's lost his usual humans. And oh my God. Anyway.
I guess this just gets back to the moral question, though, right? I mean, we can remember the photos from Abu Ghraib where dogs were used to terrorize those prisoners there, right? I mean, there were photos of that going on. So again, it's like you don't. It's not It's not the dog's fault, obviously.
No,
but we do conscript them.
You know what I
into
have?
This thing, and yeah.
As a child, I was always terrified of German Shepherds.
Sure, yeah.
And it's not that I ever met one.
Yeah.
The only time I ever saw one is I saw one in those
images
from the Nazis.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
images from the Nazis.
Yeah.
That's the first time I saw them attacking poor naked Jews, and then I see them in the South. Yeah. Attacking civil rights marchers. And so I was always a little leery about German Shepherds. I know they're wonderful animals. They are. It's what humans do to them. They just want to please their human.
Yeah.
Oh, and how we abuse that. So anyway, it's odd. So now it's odd.
We have deeply, contradictory and conflicting feelings about. But, let's face it. I mean, part of what's going on today with all this brouhaha, I mean, these are like two of the big, American sort of fetishes is, police, who we obviously grant a tremendous amount of deference to, and animals, who we anthropomorphize to
totally
huge extent.
Isn't that funny? We anthropomorphize them because we think that makes them somehow better. We attribute to them human traits, when in fact they're already better than we are. They needn't. Anthropomorphizing them, making them more human, only makes them
How do you figure they're any better than we are?
Everyone knows dogs are better than we are.
What's your definition of better? I mean, you just said a minute or two ago that it was a function of how they were brought up. So
let's say they're not brought up. Let's say they're just being a dog.
They're in the wild.
No, not even feral, but just a dog by nature.
Yeah.
A dog by nature is loving. A dog by nature is loving.
They go after squirrels and try to eat them.
Well, they gotta eat.
Well, okay, I'm just saying.
No, that's just being.
They snarl at each other. They're pack animals. They'll fight for dominance.
If you see two dogs who don't know each other meet.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's snarling that goes on. Wait. But usually, in a normal setting, two dogs meet, they figure it out right away how to be together. Dogs are better at just sort of letting
when you're at a bus stop with your other bipeds, do you notice a lot of snarling amongst them? Are there?
No.
Do they go at each other until one of them goes up on his back and it shows their belly? And I mean, what are you saying? I think it's interesting. On one hand, you're saying we're anthropomorphizing them, and on the other hand, you're saying they're better than we are.
Many things have been written about how we all would be better people if we would behave like our dog.
Like it depends on what the dog is. I
know so many dogs that if I were like them, I'd be a better person.
All right, well.
Dogs that never bit anybody. Dogs that, are concerned when you're hurt. They're so dogs. I love them. I don't just shut up.
I had a dog too.
Yeah.
I liked my dog.
Yeah, oh God. How tepid is your praise?
I didn't want to be my dog. Is that what it takes to impress you with my concern for animal welfare? Is that I have to want to be the dog? I cleaned up its poops. I fed it. I took it out for walks. We had good times.
I wouldn't mind coming back in life and being my dog. I mean, a dog owned by me.
Right.
Or an
well, then
animal
that says something nice about you. Now, let's unpack that a little, because that dog, all that dog did was accept your love and kindness and whatever, but you were the one who actually provided the love and kindness with very little actual incentive, right? What you got out of that was purely the good feeling of taking care of something. So why should you feel like you're less than a dog?
Because
you're the one who made that dog's life possible.
Dogs don't judge.
When I come back, I want to be Lynn Cullen, because she's nice.
No, you want to be Lynn Cullen's
Who's
dog.
a good girl. Look, you were like, arf, arf. I almost lost an ear there. Who's a good Lynn Cullen?
So somebody opined the other day, where are all the great old TV newscasts? Have you seen there's a lot of letters to the editor lately excoriating local news for being just totally useless TV news?
Yeah.
And something I've maintained for ages. Mm-hmm. Anyway, somebody wrote and at the end said, why can't there be... Oh, no, it was one of the letters. One of the letters said, where are the Walter Cronkites, the Eric Severides, the Bill Burns?
Yes.
And I thought... Bill Burns? You're adding Bill Burns to that crowd?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I remember him. I don't have strong enough memories to feel like I could say anything one way or the other about him.
Well, Tom says, thank you for putting Burns in his place.
Uh-oh.
I know he was well liked here, but in the second half of the 60s, the black community here did not have a lot of love for him. His contempt for the black community and the civil rights movement going on at the time was obvious. Well, look, I'm just going to say... I think he had a few racial issues because one of the things, the story I told, and I might have this story wrong, but in throwing...
Tell it anyway.
No, but I got the line right.
Okay.
He was making the segue from news to weather. And I guess the last story he had read had something to do with maybe a Japanese airliner or something like that. And he said, well, speaking of a nip in the air.
Oh, man.
And
he thought of that in advance and was really looking forward to dropping that.
I don't know that he did.
So?
No, I think that would have been off
Did they know
cuff.
they know like kind of their scripts before what stories were coming?
Maybe, but I don't know. I never thought of anything. I don't know. Okay, so I think that's it. I mean, not forever.
Oh.
I mean, not at the moment. I mean, not. No, I think we're good to go. It is, but see.
Oh.
All righty. We have reached the point, not of no return. We have reached the point at which
we will return.
Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com or call Lynn at 412-316-3381. Lynn Cullen Live will return in a moment.
Moments in Black History, brought to you by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health.
Known to his fans as Cab Calloway, Cabell Calloway Jr. was born in Rochester, New York in 1907. He was the leader of the Missourians, the house band at Harlem's Cotton Club. Cab Calloway became famous for his scat singing on such songs as Minnie the Moocher and St. Louis Blues. Calloway dazzled audiences with extravagant and energetic stage presence and his natural ability to lead big bands. In addition to singing, Calloway also appeared in a number of films such as The Cincinnati Kid and The Blues Brothers. He also had roles in the theater productions of Porgy and Bess and Hello, Dolly.
I've seen too many of my neighbors affected by stroke, but Highmark is helping us change that by sponsoring our community stroke programs. Caring isn't new for Highmark. I know. I've been a member for 40 years. I'm Jerry Ann Allen, and I'm better with Blue.
We're reinventing affordable health care by keeping the places we call home healthy. It's why our communities are better with Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield is an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association, subject to the terms of your benefit plan.
Download the brand new CP Haps app and find out what's going on in Pittsburgh. It's the fun and free app that puts the most popular events at your fingertips. Text events to 77948 to download now and register to win tickets to see Billy Joel at the Consol Energy Center February 21st. Plus lots of great free stuff every week. The CP Haps app, brought to you by Pittsburgh City Paper.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
All right, we are back, and, well, Mr. Potter, who's always in the know, just whispered in my ear that our new mayor, Bill Peduto, has just sent out word that he's packing his bags and going away for 5 days.
Yep.
Taking a vacation.
Yes.
He's only been in office like 3 weeks. What is that about? What happened?
I mean, he's taking a vacation. That's
Okay,
all
but that
we know.
seems, I mean...
It is a little...
When you start a job in January, you take a 5-day vacation in February?
It's a little, yeah.
Okay,
Especially
so tell
your
me
whole
what's going
thing
on.
was, I'm going to be the guy who's not like the guy.
Well, what do you think?
Before.
Okay, so he just said, I need some R&R. He's been working hard.
You know,
Okay,
one would
so-
have to assume.
Okay,
yeah.
but you just said he had a bad week.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the things that are going on with... you know, there's this big story about how the guy he wants as Office of Management and Budget has 80 grand and tax lien stuff.
Right.
And, you know, I don't think that was such a great look for
No,
him.
it doesn't look good, but
And,
he's
you know,
hanging
there's,
with him.
you know, I mean, I think there's, you know, you and I remember after, you know, when he first came up with his, like, sort of leadership team, you know, it's just like, you know, this sort of A-level talent, this mix of, you know, people from various ethnicities, various parts of town or whatever.
Right.
And some of the more recent picks aren't inspiring that same sort of awe, I would say.
You said picks. So
yeah, so the people he has picked for example, the public works position, right? So he gets a guy, Mike Gable, who's
been around.
Been around for whatever. He gets rid of Rob Kazarowski, who, was sort of like a lot of progressives sort of lambasted because he was a Democratic committee person.
What, that's a
very
crime?
engaged. Well, yeah, and so guess what? Mike Gable, also a Democrat committeeman. So, there's this sort of...
Yeah, but who's Democratic committeeman?
Yeah,
well,
he's in... I mean, this is the thing, though. This is the thing, is ordinarily, who would care? Right? I mean, that's the way it goes.
But
I mean, for God's
Peduto
sake...
promised us something different.
Once you've sort of elevated people's expectations, anything you do that smacks of the same... I mean, you came in here saying we were going to clean up this town. There are stories in Politico about how Bill Peduto has recast the politics of Pittsburgh or whatever. So he's getting all this positive press on the front end, and yet you kind of look at it and you think, again, I have nothing against Mike Gable. I'm sure he'll do a fine job, but, I mean, it is a little hard to kind of look at this and say, you go through this talent city thing, right? This foundation-funded talent recruitment thing, and they're going to submit between 3 and 6 names for all these positions. You're telling me that you got your 3 names for your Office of Management and Budget, and the other 2 guys on that list had more tax leads? One assumes they're all qualified. So you're telling me there were 3 qualified people to choose from,
and you took
the one that was, who, by the way, ran a campaign that you were the campaign manager of years ago. I mean,
all right.
I'm just saying it's not.
So still, why would he go on vacation? So what?
Yeah, I mean, he gets tired. People get tired. He's allowed to do it. I'm just saying, like,
you're trying to make a mountain out of
I'm saying you come in and you say, I'm changing this town, da-da-da-da-da-da, and then a month into it...
Same old.
I mean, it's not a great look. That's all I'm saying. Does it matter in the infinite scheme of things? No. In the short run, has this been sort of the kind of week that you wanted to have in your first month of office?
No, it's not been his best.
Yeah.
No. All right. I thought you were going to tell me something juicier.
No! I just said he's gone for 5 days.
Yeah, but you made it. Oh, he's gone.
That's how I ever say everything, Lynn.
Okay, well, we would be remiss if we did not note the passing of a Pittsburgh Pirate great hitter, Ralph Kiner.
Yeah.
He had the misfortune of being a great hitter playing on one of the lousiest teams ever. As a matter of fact, at the time... Have you ever seen the movie Angels in the Outfield?
No, neither the original nor the Disney remake, I don't think.
Oh, there was a Disney remake?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, the original is a hoot to watch because so much of it was filmed in Forbes Field.
Yeah.
And it's Broderick Crawford, I think. And I forget who anyway, it's fun, and they had to have, the whole idea is you take the worst team, the most pathetic team in baseball, and so they made the team that is in the movie is the Pittsburgh Pirates, because it is the Kiner era Pirates. So when they all came to Pittsburgh to make this movie here in Pittsburgh back in 51, Kiner, guess what he did? He was seen out and about with the star of the movie, Janet Leigh.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to say, Kiner was a good-looking character, too, tall, handsome. And not only that, guess who else he took out? Elizabeth Taylor.
Wow. So he was a winner after all.
Oh, man, look, here's a picture of him with Elizabeth
That guy knew how to swing a piece of lumber, if you know what I mean.
He was introduced to Elizabeth Taylor by Bing Crosby.
Really?
Now, why would Bing Crosby be a go-between? But come on, between Kiner and why? Crosby famously owned part of the Pirates.
Oh, yeah, really?
He was an owner.
Well, goodness.
Oh, you are so hopeless.
I may be hopeless,
right.
but you neglected to point out that the single most important thing about Angels in the Outfield was that it provided the plot for the greatest sports movie ever made, which was The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
That's a sports movie?
You never saw The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh?
No.
I'm pathetic, but you never saw The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
The title alone is reason not to see it.
It was the premise of A Fish That Saved Pittsburgh is... There was a basketball team in Pittsburgh who were also terrible, but their fortunes are turned around because it all turns out they're of the same astrological sign. They're all Pisces. And they get a team astrologer who does it, and it starred Meadowlark Lemon and some other folks. And
are you kidding? Is that what the Fish?
This is really a movie. This is really a movie.
Okay, I've heard
late
of the movie.
Late 1970s, and it's famous for the scene where
Meadowlark Lemon, the Harlem Globetrotters.
Harlem Globetrotters. It's famous for the scene where, because they played, of course, in the Civic Arena. The dome of the Civic Arena retracts, and a giant
fish.
Like a zeppelin or a blimp or whatever, painted to look like a fish, comes in, and then the players like drop out, so they're playing like the final game of the thing. And there was some like, and the team, and the real like the hero of the whole thing was some kind of Gary Coleman wannabe kid who played like the water boy or whatever.
All right, enough already.
Yeah.
So I'll check out Netflix.
Oh yes, you absolutely should. It's a classic piece of cinema.
Well, you know, that arena really has been a star in some movies. The Claude Van Damme thing. What's that movie?
Sudden Death or Impact or whatever it was. It was sudden. Oh, it was death. Okay, sudden.
And
death.
that was.
Oh yeah, of course, because it's a
hockey.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just one more thing about Kiner. He then went on, after his career for a losing team, went on to be the voice of the New York Mets, which were a losing team. He couldn't get away from them. He absolutely, they thought he'd be great for
feel that way myself sometimes.
Yeah. But he turns out he was famous sort of for doing these malapropisms, sort of like a Yogi Berra or a Casey Stengel. Did Casey Stengel famous for that, or Yogi
Berra was famous for saying things that
were wonderful,
wise, but
they were wise.
So what was Kiner's?
And like here's one, and it involves Casey Stengel. Kiner famously said, if Casey Stengel were alive today, he'd be spinning in his grave.
I remember that one. I had heard.
That's great. That's just wonderful. Gotta love it.
You know, really, Pittsburgh sports in the 50s was pretty atrocious.
Yeah,
because the Steelers were awful. And I'm trying to remember who the athlete was who was sort of holding out for it was I believe it was on the Steelers, who was holding out for a contract, and the manager just said to him, we could lose 10 games.
Kiner.
Oh, was it Kiner? It was Kiner. Okay.
So Ralph Kiner.
Right.
Ralph Kiner is hitting like crazy, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And the Pirates were like something like, they were so far below 500, it was a joke.
Right.
And he is making big money because he's like the greatest hitter. And the manager at the time, or the owner at the time, no, he would have been the manager, Branch Rickey.
Yes, that sounds right.
The famous Branch Rickey.
Yes.
So he says to Kiner, look, Kiner, I'm cutting your salary because
I can lose
90
games without you. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Why should I pay you all this money to lose? Poor guy. Man, talk about being in the wrong place.
That's great management, though, as far as I'm concerned. That's really, I'll have to use that someday.
Well, you know.
What is
don't
that?
do that to me. I don't know.
Anyway.
Looks like a dead German Shepherd. I don't want to. Okay. And how we doing? You seen the big news in Japan?
No, I'm not sure. No.
Well, I know you put out a newspaper, but apparently you don't read any.
I don't read news from Japan.
Well, spoken like a good American. Man, I'll tell you. Jeez.
Here we go.
Okay, I'm being shown a picture.
Yes!
Is that
That's like the team photo.
The team photo?
Hold on, scroll up. Oh, there's no up the other way.
No, never mind. I'm not going to see that movie. It looks like, first of all, it looks like it was...
It was terrible. I'm sorry, did you think that I actually meant that it was a legitimately good movie? It was awful.
It looks like it was made on 8mm or something. So, Japan's most famous living composer.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say his name. I mean, I can say it. Whether I'm going to say it correctly is what... Mamoru Samuragochi.
Sounds good. It's very good.
Maybe not bad.
Yeah.
He has long hair. He looks like he's a classical composer. Mm-hmm. And in fact, he did a symphony, I think, which is called Hiroshima, which is big. It is huge, and it's very highly thought of. And here's what's amazing about him and why the Japanese just, I was going to say adulate him. Is adulate a word?
I don't know. It should be.
Shouldn't it?
Yeah.
But they do. They adulate the guy.
As Ralph kind of would say.
Because he lost his hearing at the age of 35. He's deaf. And he did this, he composed this stuff. So he's likened to?
Beethoven.
Beethoven.
Yeah.
Huge.
So.
What happened?
Yes.
Turns out he never wrote any of the music. He had a ghost music writer. And the ghost music writer, who's now come out, says, and on top of that...
He's not really deaf. He had another guy who was deaf for him. Oh, dear, 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 dear.
Yes, the Japanese Beethoven. Oh, my...
That's amazing.
God.
So it's just an absolute total scam?
That has gone on for decades, apparently. And the Olympics had something to do with his outing in that, like, a Japanese figure skater who's expected to potentially win gold chose one of his compositions to skate to.
Yeah.
And somehow, the publicity surrounding that, I'm not quite sure.
A reporter shouted, "Hey!" and he turned around. And that was it.
I don't know. This is all I know at this point. I gotta know more. This is unbelievable.
I thought you were going to say, like, he got his hearing back and then he started writing the music and it was all terrible. You know what I mean?
No.
Oh, we got a call. Here we go.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Good morning, you guys.
Hi.
Lynn, I wanted to throw something out at you and get your opinion on it because since I've heard about it, I've had such mixed feelings and mixed reactions. And I've also developed a thought about something else that is similar. But I don't know if you heard about the Zimmerman guy.
Oh, yeah.
Box this troubled rapper.
Yeah, DMX.
Actor.
Yeah.
And there's people actually against that. And
oh, yeah.
And then there's some people like me that feel that maybe, there's an ass whooping that's coming to him or that he possibly deserves.
Right.
But then, you think that, yes, he's going to gain money, and, because this is something that he's actually going around saying he'll go anywhere and fight anyone. I was hoping that Mike Tyson would say, no, you know what? Forget about the DMX guy. Come and fight me.
Yeah.
But I had another thought later on after I heard about this on Monday. Whenever I heard about it, too. What if we lived in this world that if you had two certified, bona fide people that's been tried and been convicted of murder, and they both, still signed and delivered, agreed that they did commit these crimes. What if we have these? There's there's been several movies like this. Let these two people battle it out,
right?
And just let them battle it out. And the one the person that wins get to live his life somewhat free, but with restrictions, obviously, with ankle brace. First of all, in this country now, in this world now, you can almost be tracked. It's almost impossible now to really, really, really get lost unless you really, really go off the grid and use no currency, no phones, like no television, or do it. So there's ways of finding these people if they decide they want to go and take their chance and go back to the behavior that caused them to be in that predicament they're in. But it's stuff like this makes people like me think sort of outside the box, which sometimes is not good. It's a scary thing. But we play around with that and say, well, there may be something there. There may be something there. Now, I'm not saying that this guy wasn't convicted of anything. He was acquitted.
Right. Found
not guilty, or whatever you want to say about it. And the other person has been in trouble several times, using drugs, and then a lot of issues. So that wouldn't be an obvious protection case. To me, it would have to be if you want to try this in the real world, match people up equally that have committed crime that has been truly convicted, who has truly agreed to, yes, they did commit this crime, and that as a condition of their incarceration, they want to face someone else and battle it out for their freedom.
Well, that's getting a little, I mean, I know the justice system doesn't always work, so it doesn't dispense justice. And maybe having people fight it out would have as good a record at dispensing justice. But it's just not. There's something, I haven't talked about this thing because, and I haven't admittedly even looked into it. I saw that this was and there's something wrong on every level about it to me. I'm reacting in a total negative way. First of all, a beautiful young black kid is dead, and justice was not delivered. And this now, so two people, his killer and some other guy who's probably looking for a little bit of a jump start on his career or something, are looking to make money off.
But it's not the first time this has happened.
What is the point of this?
I don't know. Years back, who was that skater, Tonya Harding? They paid her to get into like a sort
wrestling,
of wrestling thing or whatever. So it's not the first time this has happened. I'll also do a caller one better and say, back in the Middle Ages, as English common law was sort of being put together, the system we have now, you could request trial by battle.
Really?
And you would if you were accused of a crime, you would fight a champion chosen by the state, and if you could prevail in that fight, you were innocent, because the idea was God himself would come down and so that was so it wasn't just a matter of having people who were convicted seek their freedom. It was also a matter of going back to that. And I think civilization changes, but I don't think people really change that much.
I agree
and
with
that. I mean, what this is really about is the desire for some people to see Zimmerman get the crap kicked out of him because they feel like that's what should have happened, and it's a desire on people on the other side of the audience to see Zimmerman beat up another black guy, right? I mean, that's really what it really comes down to.
That's a ridiculous spectacle, I think.
Sure, but the spectacle is all. I mean, go back to ancient Rome when you used to. I'm sure that you would put criminals into the pits to fight each other and to fight the animals or whatever. Well, so we've been there before.
What could be the worst out of that situation that occurred? Zimmerman getting beaten to death, or Zimmerman beating another, or taking another life?
Yeah. What about? I mean,
what could be? I mean, what really? Could that cause a bigger issue than what it has caused so far in society?
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Yeah,
you too.
I mean, that's the thing. It's the perfect. We had a terrible. This shooting death happened, and it became a spectacle of justice, right? I mean, justice was. I mean, it became a spectacle, and now they're just perpetuating the spectacle. I'm against it. I'm not for it, but I think we should be honest. I mean, there's a reason there are helicopters circling around this funeral today. There's a reason that there are people looking to put on this fight. It's because it makes a spectacle that people will watch.
It draws an audience. It's all about drawing an audience, and that's what it's about. That's what it's about. All right. I don't know.
Guess what?
So which one is supposed to win? I mean, Zimmerman is a big beef, not big. He's sort of beefy looking.
I thought he had taken some boxing lessons.
Oh, really?
At some point. I have no idea who you. I have no idea who you.
Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, Clarence from Canonsburg.
Clarence.
Yeah, on Facebook, every time somebody brings up this fight, I shame them.
Yeah.
Shouldn't even be mentioned. It shouldn't be. Period.
I agree.
I know you didn't bring it up. The caller brought it up, and now he's culpable in keeping the guy's name in the news.
Yeah.
He's culpable, and in our mind, he's part of he is now part of that guy remaining a celebrity.
Yeah. So we should just salt the fields and speak no more of it? Is that
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right. Turn our backs.
There's this part of Star Trek. I don't know if I know you're not a Trekkie, Lynn. I don't know if you are.
No, I am, yeah.
Yeah, you remember there was an episode in The Next Generation where Worf got, what is it called?
Yeah, and all the Klingon warriors turn their backs on him. Yeah.
That's my thing. You just turn your back on them.
Shun.
Yeah.
Right.
And I actually have that video bookmarked. As soon as somebody brings it up, I make them feel guilty, and then I throw up that little video of me turning my, it's like me turning my back on you for even mentioning this guy.
Yeah.
All right, I'm with you totally.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, man.
Avert one's gaze.
But we don't do
turn your
that,
back.
right? I mean, we don't have an honor culture in that way. We have a celebrity culture.
Yeah, we have the absolute opposite of an honor culture.
Yeah.
Honor
celebrity
is not
culture.
even honor. The concept of honor is something we don't even get.
Yeah, you should have your brother speak to this stuff. You should have him on the show.
I've had him on the show about honor.
Yeah. This would be good. This would be a good
But
thing.
an honor culture does give rise to a pretty seemingly brutal kind of justice.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here we have a thing that just says as long there's
vengeful.
no such thing as bad publicity. That's the MO of American society at this point in its history. As long as they're talking about you. So Claire, I totally understand where Clarence is coming from.
Me too, totally.
He should be spoken of no more forever.
It's okay with me. I can't bear it. I can't bear thinking of him because I think of that poor boy. Damn it. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we shall return.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
While cutting molding with a 12-inch dual compound miter saw, while holding a newborn baby in your arms, when face-to-face with a congregation of alligators, with the ball in your hands and the entire freaking season on the line.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting, so why would you do it while driving? NASCAR driver Casey Kane here, asking you to please stop the text, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Get the message at stoptextstopregs.org.
BurgBargains.com is the best bet for great Valentine's Day deals. Log on today for exclusive deals from your favorite local restaurants like Burger, Harris Grill, Verde, Pittsburgh Grill Downtown, and Willow. Sign up for the weekly email update for your chance to win a $100 gift card from the Sewickley Spa. The all-new BurgBargains.com, Pittsburgh's best bargains, BurgBargains.com.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
Hello. All right. Yeah, you just brought up something that... Now, I'm shocked that you bring this up because, first of all, it was on the sports page, and you never pay any attention to sports.
Obviously, I do.
Did somebody draw your attention to this piece?
This is what I do instead of reading news about Japanese composers.
A Pittsburgh Steeler, Ryan Clark, was quoted in the Post-Gazette.
I think he said it to a show on ESPN. Yeah.
Well, he said, and get this, he said that some of the Steelers smoke pot.
Dun, dun, dun!
Oh, shocked! Shocked that young men would smoke pot.
Frankly, it explains a lot.
No, it doesn't. And he said that they do it recreationally, they do it to relax, and they do it for pain relief because
they don't want to get addicted to Vicodin, a legal pharmaceutical product.
Yes, which they figure is a lot more dangerous. The Vicodin that the doctors give them, they, in their dunder-headed football heads, actually think that the Vicodin might actually be much more potentially a real negative to their overall health than pot. And yet pot seems to help the aches and the pains.
Yeah.
Maybe as much, if not a little bit less, but then the risk isn't there.
Yeah.
They don't want to end up so many players end up hooked on those pills.
Yep.
Brett Favre got hooked on Vicodin.
Yeah.
It's like heroin. It's an opiate, right? Yeah. So this shows again how crazy we are.
It really
How
does.
crazy we are. And even the players are smart enough to know you got a bottle of...
Even the players.
Well, that's why I'm doing that.
Oh, yeah, I know, but still.
Even the Vicodin
Yeah.
in one hand,
Yeah.
given to them by their doctors,
Yeah.
and marijuana given to them by a dealer. They weigh the two and they think pot, and they're making the right choice.
Yeah.
And that the NFL should give a damn whether its players are smoking pot to relieve the pain, which is the consequence of their employment, is beyond belief.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing this too. I mean, the other side of this is, of course, there's a debate going on in Harrisburg right now about using cannabis to treat children, especially who have a seizure disorder. And we should be clear, this is a form of this drug where all the THC has been leached out of it. I don't know exactly how they do that.
Because God knows we wouldn't want little kids to get high.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, you wouldn't.
Right, okay,
but
fine.
still, there's no way that you're going to have, like, you know, dudes in, like, black light rooms popping these things, because they have no effect that way at all. And yet it's still this uphill battle. And you still got
are stupid.
Tom Corbett making these nonsensical statements about how he's waiting for a blah blah from the FDA before he does anything. And
Did you see this former cop who was a narc for ages, gave a speech here recently?
Yeah.
And didn't he say that the war on drugs is second only to slavery in its destruction of African American families and the war on drugs, not drugs. The war on drugs.
Yeah. How can you argue it? I just watched a documentary. I wish I could remember the name of it. And it sort of went back and it charted this whole history. And the filmmaker had sort of a nanny who was black that he grew up with and her kids. And they played with these kids and all this stuff. And, you know, she was exactly, you know, a paragon of respectable whatever. And, you know, 2 of her kids ended up in jail as a result of drug offense. And one of the things he does is he goes back and he looks at how it all got started. And we blame Nixon, of course. But one of the things that was interesting, he points out early on in this war on drugs, Nixon was talking the same kind of way you and I might. It's got to be about intervention and about, you know, about stopping this addiction and doing all that stuff and not so much the punishment. And then, of course, what happened is Nixon, a shrewd politician, if nothing else, figured out people wanted to hear about the punishment. People wanted to send drug addicts and black drug addicts in particular to jail. It is not unlike that call we got a little while before. People want to see people beating each other up. People want to be able to pass judgment on others. People want to be able to send people who look different, who are fearsome in some ways, and just send them away and have them suffer. I guess dogs are better than us after all.
Thank you. Really? See, no dog.
You convinced me.
Thank you. See, because as soon as you start talking about human nature, it's perfectly clear.
Yeah.
We have a call. Hello.
Hello, Potter, you beat me to it. I was going to say, and thus is the reason dogs are better than
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, he did.
You know, I am not a religious person, but in some shape or form, I think human beings are cursed with what the Catholic religion calls original sin.
Yep.
And I don't think animals have it.
Yeah, could be.
I don't know if it's awareness of self.
Yes.
Well, it is. It's we are self. Yeah. Well,
I often believe that there are things that are spiritual that have a pragmatic source or a logical source, and I think that has something to do with it. That self-awareness that causes you to do all the awful things that we do.
Yeah.
A dog or most animals. And it's funny, the closer you get to us, the more things occur. I've seen chimpanzees beat other chimpanzees, gang up on another chimpanzee and beat it to death and things like that.
Well, we have cockfights, we have dog fights. I mean, it's not that much different, right?
Well, and It's like that. It's a cliche, but there are no bad dogs. They're just bad dog owners.
Yeah,
that's right. That is so true.
Right.
That's so true.
And left to their own devices, you guys were talking about when two dogs meet.
They always figure it out.
Left to their own devices, they will work it out.
They always do.
And it won't involve doing it with malice.
Yeah.
Or punitively.
Right.
So, have a good weekend, guys.
Thanks for the call.
You too. Yeah, pet a dog. And here, this is from Ray, who's been in a state of high dudgeon.
Has he?
Yes.
Okay.
And this seems to continue it. Lynn and Potter, the Zimmerman stuff, and Nancy Grace, and the Long Island Medium.
I don't know what that is. Long Island
Teresa Caputo.
Teresa Caputo?
What is that, Teresa Caputo?
What does she do?
She has a reality show.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Oh, see, you're more up on this stuff than I don't even know what that is. Ray! The Zimmerman stuff, Nancy Grace, the Long Island Medium, the Kardashians all show that the American public has an insatiable appetite for unadulterated shit.
Yes.
And worse is we seem proud of it. Now, why then do you say Max von Sydow?
I think this is a quote from the film, from Hannah and Her Sisters.
Oh, well, let's not bring Woody Allen into things now. Huh? Oh, I just saw this weird Max von Sydow movie, one of the weird ones where he's speaking Scandinavian stuff.
Like the
where he kills a whole bunch of people and then builds a church, and then it's just so weird. Anyway, okay, back to Ray. You see the whole culture. Nazis. Wait a minute. Ray, what are you smoking? You see the whole culture. Nazis, deodorant salesmen, wrestlers, beauty contests, a talk show. Excuse me?
I think he's still quoting the film, though, right? I think that's what this is.
Is it?
I think so.
Well, then, have you ever heard of quotation marks, which would help me?
Give you a little colon there. See.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, Max von Sydow said the following. Just shut up.
Go ahead.
Here's Max von Sydow in
Hannah and Her Sisters, we think.
You see the whole culture. Nazis, deodorant salesmen, wrestlers, a beauty contest, a talk show. Can you imagine the level of a mind that watches wrestling? But the worst are the fundamentalist preachers. Third-grade con men telling the poor suckers that watch them that they speak with Jesus and to please send in money. Money, money, money! If Jesus came back and saw what's going on in his name, he'd never stop throwing up.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Or The Catcher in the Rye has a similar sentiment expressed.
Well, who hasn't expressed that sentiment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, did you see?
This show turned out to be kind of downbeat. You started off like all.
Well, I didn't do it.
Yeah, I know. Well.
I didn't do it. Immigration reform.
Okay.
Dead.
That was like a 4802 transition right there. Just, whoa.
Oh, God. 48.
No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
4802 tonight.
Is it dead now? It was alive just yesterday. It was like the GOP. It was going to be their thing that they did
right. The
2 days ago.
They were going to do it. And in fact, the year-long effort to overhaul all our immigration laws, which in fact had the support of Republican leaders, had the support of American business, had the support of the labor movement.
Yep.
In other words, pretty much everybody.
Except for
now, who do you think might have derailed this?
The Tea Party people.
The Tea Party Republicans, who still have enough force to prevent anything from happening, even if the rest of us want it. And here's how Boehner has decided to position this. Quote, "The American people, including many of my members, don't trust that the reform that we're talking about will be implemented as it was intended to be."
Right.
Essentially, he's saying, we don't trust Obama.
Right. The one thing they all still agree on over there.
Is that just the sickest
What else is he going to do? The guy doesn't have any options. He does not have any options. And there's going to be a very interesting primary season coming up. Not around here so much, but in other parts of the country where you see these sort of the business-minded Republicans
are starting to really.
They're sweating, and they thought the one thing they had going for them was a lot of money. And what's turning out to happen is the financial advantage isn't what they thought it was, because a lot of the Tea Party movement are these Cook brothers and some of these other guys who are just going to spend $1 bazillion. And they're going to try to knock the pins out from underneath these establishment Republicans first.
Tea Party types have even deeper pocketed creeps behind them. Yeah. They'll take
We are reaping the whirlwind here from Citizens United. And it is ironic to see that the first, they'll come for us later, but the first casualties for some of this are going to be some of these more business-minded, pragmatic Republicans.
Beyond belief.
We shouldn't shed a tear for, of course, but still.
Beyond belief. This in from Margaret, who is battling cancer now.
Oh.
We wish you the best, dear. You know we do. She says she uses pot. I have less fatigue, less pain, less nausea, and I smile. How bad could it be?
Yeah.
That's from somebody who is, in this state, illegally using marijuana to give her a measure of, what's the word? Succor.
Yes.
I don't like saying that word because it just sounds bad. Doesn't it? It does. Yeah. So what's the other word I was looking for? Succor's what came up.
Yeah.
A measure of
palliative, yes.
Palliativeness? That's like me saying adulate.
It palliates the pain.
It palliates.
She uses it as a palliative.
Right. Whatever.
Very good.
So, at least the good news is Subway is not going to be using this ingredient in its bread, which is also used in making the rubber on your sole of your shoe.
Mm-hmm. That's too bad. I like that.
That rubbery smell, that's sort of like... It's the same stuff that goes into making, like, yoga mats.
Oh, yeah?
You know? Yeah. Yeah, and apparently that chemical is what gives Subway's bread that je ne sais quoi.
That's a French phrase for rubber kind of taste.
Interestingly, get this. Subway does not use the chemical, does not put rubber in its bread in European or Australian markets.
The sad thing is there's a Subway in European markets is what...
Well, Subway at least isn't. I mean, come on.
No.
There was a petition from people who do like to eat at Subway begging them to stop putting rubber in their... Isn't that some kind of... Isn't that something? God knows what we're all ingesting on a daily basis. Okay, so anyway, that's it for us. I thank Chris Potter for showing up. I thank Chris Potter for his...
What's going on here? I feel like I'm being set up for something.
No, I swear you're not. I told you when we began. I never know what's going on.
Okay.
We just take things and see where they end up. God help us. Yeah, so 4802 tonight if you want to laugh. And, well, seriously.
Yeah, I guess.
And that's hey, Monday I do have a guest. This is a woman, and I hadn't heard. She runs an organization that helps the children of people in prison.
Oh.
Isn't that good?
That is good.
Did you ever hear of people doing that? Well, we're going to hear.
Local?
Yeah.
I may tune in.
Okay. Yes, she is. And we will have her and one of the young women that she has helped, who now actually turned it around, got to college, blah, 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 and now works with her to help other children of incarcerated parents.
Wow, that sounds really
good story.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
That's on Monday. And Jared Day of Daily News Nuggets will be with us on Wednesday. And I hope Tom Sokolowski will be with us on Thursday. And I hope Chris Potter will be with us on Friday.
Do what I can.
Do what you can. Goodbye. Have a great weekend.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.